Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. Let's have a Bible study on John chapter 9, verses 13 all the way through 34. This is a continuation of the discussion or the episode about the man who was blind from birth. So let's continue. I hope you'll watch the previous ones. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed and do see. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. They say unto the blind man again, What sayest thou of him that he hath opened thine eyes? He said, He is a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. And they asked them, saying, Is this your son, who ye say was born blind? How then doth he now see? His parents answered them and said, We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not, or who hath opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him. He shall speak for himself. These words spake his parents, because they feared the Jews. For the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was Christ, he should be put out of the synagogue. Therefore said his parents, He is of age, ask him. Then again called they the man that was blind, and said unto him, Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, Whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that, whereas I was blind, now I see. Then said they to him again, What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I have told you already, and ye did not hear. Wherefore would ye hear it again? Will ye also be his disciples? Then they reviled him and said, Thou art his disciple. Thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples. We know that God spake unto Moses. As for this fellow, we know not from whence he is. The man answered and said unto them, Why, herein is a marvellous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened mine eyes. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of God, he could do nothing. They answered and said unto him, Thou wast altogether born in sins, and dost thou teach us? And they cast him out. Now the man who was healed of his blindness was brought to the Pharisees to be examined. He explained what happened. The Pharisees condemned Jesus for, once again, healing someone on the Sabbath, although some took a less hostile tone. The man himself confessed that Jesus was a prophet. The Jews did not believe that the man was born blind until they brought in his parents and questioned them. However, they would not risk being thrown out of the synagogue by affirming how the miracle happened or by whom, so they put it back on their son. The Pharisees interrogated the man again, this time telling him to give God credit for the miracle, because they viewed Jesus as they would a publican or a prostitute. He was just a sinner in their eyes, performing tricks of healing on the Sabbath. The man replied that he didn't know whether or not Jesus was a sinner, but he did know that he could see for the first time. They pushed him again to tell them exactly what happened, but he refused to give in and reminded them that he already told them that. There's a sharp exchange where the man insists that Jesus must be of God. At the end, he's cast out of the synagogue. Why did Jesus insist on performing miracles on the Sabbath that offended the Jews? Matthew Henry wrote that Jesus was deliberately attacking the authority of the religious elite as, quote, their government was illegal, their impositions were arbitrary, and their zeal for the rituals consumed the substantials of religion, and therefore Christ would not give place to them by subjection, no, not for an hour. Christ was made under the law of God, but not under their law. So, let's continue. And that was Matthew Henry's commentary on the whole Bible, written in 1706, and you can find it at BibleStudyTools.com. So let's go to John 9:35. Jesus heard that they cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, Dost thou believe on the Son of God? He answered and said, Who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Jesus said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. And he said, Lord, I believe. Then he worshipped him. Jesus, hearing that the man had been cast out of the presence of the Jewish ruler, searched him out and asked a question that is fundamental to salvation. When Philip was talking to the Ethiopian eunuch, this exchange took place, Acts 8:36 and 37. And as they went on their way, there came into a certain water, and the eunuch said, See, here is water. What doth hinder me to be baptized? And Philip said, If thou believest with all thine heart, thou mayest. And he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. The belief that Jesus was God in the flesh walking on earth is a primary belief of Christianity. A Roman centurion at the crucifixion believed. Mark 15:39. When the centurion which stood over against him saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost, he said, Truly this man was the Son of God. The Common English Bible, CEB, changes the Son of God to the human one, so we can get an idea of what doctrinal stance those translators are trying to push. It appears to be something akin to the ancient Arian and modern Jehovah's Witness, but I could be mischaracterizing their intentions as I've not studied that Bible. Most of the modern versions change the Son of God to the Son of Man, which is one of the titles of Jesus, linking him to a prophet. It was applied to Ezekiel on many occasions and to the Messiah, and still considering him as God in human flesh. But it is incorrect in this verse. The man believed when Jesus declared that he was indeed the very Son of God and worshiped him. The old American Standard Version, ASV, published within a decade and a half of the English Revised Version, had a curious footnote of 38. It said, quote, "The Greek word denotes an act of reverence, whether paid to a creature as here or to the Creator." Again, perhaps this was an indication of the doctrinal stance of the translators. Strange things happen in modern Bible translation, made possibly by the Enlightenment in German theology and rationalism. All right, well, we'll stop there and pick it up in verse 39 next. Now, I'm going to ask you to please read your Bible, study your Bible, read your Bible, open it up and let God speak to you through his word. Separately, study your Bible and cross-reference the verses, praying both times to God for wisdom and understanding, and then share your interpretation with someone else. Now, you can purchase my comments on Amazon. You can read them on blogger.com, or just follow me here. But if you watch this video this far, please click like and subscribe or follow and share the video with someone else. I look forward to your comments too. I realize you may not agree with what I say. You may have something to add or just want to make a comment. All right. Thank you very much.